nothing for me to say.
You always have like an intro. Like you do the actual like
No, I do an intro for the main show, but I
right,
don't
but you
do
always
it.
say something. You always start off. I just like the me babbling when we start the show off is a newer thing. You usually have like a whole like thing, like a whole kit and caboodle. Like it's
Hey,
always like
kitten caboodle. Okay, well, I guess I can figure something out. Hi, folks. I'm Sako Toomey, and I'm here with the moon. And we are Sako and the moon reviewing Lords of Salem.
as suggested by our guest for last Friday, um, Kelly Shannon,
Kelly
Kenny Shannon
Shannon.
Pierce. Yes, there's a bunch of names. I had to remember which name I had to remove. I'm like,
Kelly Shannon. Yep. Who was our guest last week
last
on
Friday.
Friday. Uh
Which just reminds me
who
that we don't have a guest this Friday. For the
No,
first
we
time in
don't.
like a season and a half, we don't have a guest. Um,
Yep.
Watch, someone's going to email me and be like, "Hey, what y'all doing tomorrow?" I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nothing." You said you don't have a guest, so I was just thinking. I'm like,
I hope so.
bitch, say less. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
No, but we have a topic for tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. We'll cover that at the end of the episode. Right now, we are going to review Lords of Salem by Rob Zombie. So I don't have to tell you who's starring in this movie because it's Rob Zombie, and we know who also always stars in Rob Zombie movies. Mrs. Rob Zombie. Mrs. Rob Zombie stars in. Yes, Sherry Moon Zombie. I know her name, but let's be honest, it doesn't really matter. It does matter what her name is, but it's Rob Zombie's wife. And I can tell you from like the Howard Hills vantage point, we have the same set of actors and actresses that are in all of our stuff. So hopefully you like Natalie and Stephanie because they're in our movies a lot.
I like Stephanie. I don't know Natalie, but I like Stephanie.
You know Natalie when you see Natalie because
Okay.
it's like Holly's niece or something to that effect.
Mm,
But in the grand scheme of things, when you have like your core group that you make movies with, like that becomes your core group you make movies with. And
mm-hmm.
Rob Zombie movies are all the same. The House of a Thousand Corpses, 31, the Halloween movies that we try to forget exist. Um, I can see right now trying to do like horror therapy, getting through Halloween. Like
Mm-hmm.
someone's gonna have to sit me down to force me to watch that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe someday. I don't know. In the meantime, it was suggested to us to watch Lords of Salem. So here we are. If you're new to this, we have a 4-star rating system. 4-star. Excuse me. And those categories, each star goes to a category. Those categories are theme, production, writing, and characterization. If I was a little bit slower, I could have just waited for Sako to put that on the screen, and I could just read about that. But let's go ahead and get into it. And the theme of Lawrence the theme. Does any of Rob Zombie movie ever really have a theme?
uh, Not really. The theme was witches, satanic witches.
Yeah. Um, I
I'm
guess if I
wondering
was
why
gonna,
it's blue.
I have no idea why it's blue. I don't mind blue.
I I guess I don't mind it, but
Well, we can change it later. It's under media something or others, and you can choose.
I'm looking at style currently, but
Yeah.
it's not doing the style color.
Well, we might have to take it off screen first to do it. Either way
Uh,
it goes, we're under theme, and the
we're into
subcategories
theme.
for theme are message, tone, mood, and backstory. And who doesn't like Salem witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of your motif here. If the only message I could think of is, uh, yeah, actually, I got nothing. I really tried. I thought I had something, and I did not.
Don't fuck with witches. Fuck around and find out.
I
Like,
mean, that's the best you got. Uh, the gist of this is, and I know I normally save it for the writing portion. The gist of this movie is there were witches back in Salem, like around 1696, and the reverend priesty guy in charge um, was killing a bunch of witches. And one of those witches was like, I'm going to get your ass. And many, many, many moons later, Sherry moons even, they got his ass in a roundabout way. More details in a little while. But
yeah.
that's that. I guess fuck around and find out. It's like when you, I don't know, we could throw a bunch of like cool cliches at this. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
fuck with the best, you die like the rest. Like, I don't know. Like, I got nothing here.
Don't fuck with witches. They will kill you
They
with
will.
cast iron.
That was wild. Because first of all, how strong are you to just wield around a cast iron pan like that? Like, there's
Hey, a
no.
50-year-old woman would have no problem wielding cast iron.
I'm a 42-year-old man, and I got a problem wielding around a cast iron. Can I lift one and move it around? Sure. But to just like baseball, like pickleball racket style cast iron,
Uh-huh.
do the witches have super strength too? Like, is it the T? Was it the T? I think it was the T.
Sure.
I don't know. Thump thump.
Dun 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 dun. I have some trivia
Throw it out there.
that I can throw out there. There are no digital effects in the film.
I can see that. I'm cool. Okay.
Nothing, no digital effects. Rob Zombie wrote himself a novelization of the film along with writer Brian Evanson. According to Zombie, the novelization is based on his original screenplay, which differs significantly from the final script used in the film.
I can relate to that. Funny enough, I actually plan on doing something very similar.
Oh,
The
yeah?
the original screenplay to our film Companion. Um, let's just say some people in production thought it was too much. And after having reread it, it was a lot. But I decided I was going to novelize it and do a novelization of the screenplay. So I totally see that, because sometimes you have like a really good idea and you go kind of like you go hard in the paint
Mm-hmm.
with that idea. It was the last time someone said that on YouTube. And then you're like, ooh, this is a dope story. It's a little much to produce, though. And that could be for any reason. That could be for costs, for rating purposes, could be for any of those reasons. So, it makes sense. It's like, well, I don't want to lose what I've written, but I realize we have to make a film that's going to have to actually be put out there. So you make a compromise. The compromise is, let's have this cleaner version of the script, and you keep your original idea and you put a book out.
I'm confused.
Oh no, novelizationalating.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the word. Novelizationalizing your screenplay is pretty common, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, because again, it's one media. one medium, which is film, and particularly if you're not going to be in a position where you're going to be able to actually put it out. Like if you can't film your screenplay for one reason or another, or you try to shop it and it doesn't get picked up, then what are you going to do with it?
Write a book.
Write it into a book. So yeah, there's a few people who are like, they usually go the other way. They write the book and they're like, this would make a cool film. So they learn screenwriting so they can turn their book into a screenplay. But sometimes it goes the other way around because again, you write something that maybe it's hard to film or expensive to film, or maybe you just won't pass the censors or whatever. So it's how you can keep your original idea, but also produce something that tangible.
Let's see. The screenplay had a subplot about a film named Frankenstein and the Witch Hunter, a kind of Hammer Films exploitation that the characters of Matthias and his wife attend thanks to free tickets from the radio station. Rob Zombie shot this film within the film with Udo Kier. Ooh, awesome. I love Udo Kier. Camille Keaton and Clint Howard. But all the scenes related were deleted from the final cut.
So what do you do with the film?
They
So if anyone knows what Rob Zombie did with that little bonus movie, let us know. I'd like to see it. I'm hit or miss when it comes to zombie movies. I'm gonna be honest, and that may impact my scoring today. But I'm also very curious as to what you would do with that story within a story, especially if it was already filmed. So
Rob Zombie imagined the witches as Manson-esque hippies.
That checks out. That checks.
One more. The goat scene in this film was named Noodles.
I mean, why not? Why not have a goat named Noodles?
Yeah. So do we think that it should get a star for the theme?
It's kind of hard to determine what the theme actually was.
The theme is satanic witches.
But if you look at
satanic
tone and mood, and I think it's something we didn't really address much of. If we look at tone and mood, I will give it a star. Here's why. The tone started off, we see the movie takes place over the course of a week. And we see early on in the week, our main character, Heidi, has some struggles, right? We get introduced to the struggles. We get introduced to, she's going by a name that's not her own. She goes to an AA meeting, and she goes to an AA meeting, and in a AA meeting, so like Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and so you see that she's had struggles and is recovering. So you know that there are problems. So there's like a dark cloud in the distance. And as the movie progresses, that dark cloud does move forward over Heidi and just gets darker and darker until the end. She has a really bad fucking week. Let's just say that. She has a really bad fucking week. And with that in mind, that is executed extremely well. Of the Rob Zombie movies, that's probably one of the better linear stories told.
Agreed.
So ignoring all the other stuff, if we focus solely on those how the tone and mood are established and later on progressively get darker and darker to this dark ending, I think it was executed perfectly. So I'm willing to give it a star.
Okay.
Did I sell you on the star?
No, I thought it should get a star anyway. Okay, so next is production. In which case we talk about art direction, makeup and props, and cinematography.
Um, Art direction. Let's start there. I loved some of these sets. There's a cathedral-esque scene near the end, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
There's a there's a really weird scene in a church in the middle of a park. I think aesthetically that was gorgeous. The color grading on the movie fit the dark mood, the progressively darkened mood. Um, there are actually a lot of things I can give it props for. Cinematography, the framing. One time she gets home and there's like a witch in her apartment in this uh, far right third, and then you have her kind of in like the center third, kind of a lower section. So they frame the door in the first third, Heidi in the second third, the witch in the last third, and with the lighting, the just enough lighting for her to do what she had to do, it was just it looked it worked
It
on
worked.
screen. So that's good director of photography. That's good directing. Uh, that really worked. That worked.
Mm-hmm. Makeup and props. The witches were hella made up.
Oh yeah.
I think they were wearing suits.
Okay, let me ask you this. When?
When they're dancing around the fire.
Maybe. But I'll tell you this. There
The 1602 uh witches.
96. I wrote it down.
Oh.
1696.
Oh,
Cause
okay.
I knew I was going to forget it. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I took notes. Be proud, people in the comments. Be proud. Moon took notes. After having to do the only ones and having to completely fuck up the names because I remembered none of their names,
None of
and
their
I'm reduced to
names.
like the black guy, the podcaster, the black lesbian. After that, I took notes. Now I normally take notes, but I usually wait for my second watch to take notes. I didn't risk it. Didn't risk it for the biscuit. I wrote the notes. I wrote those. Anyway, um, there are a few nude scenes in this movie. I know, Rob Zombie. Surprise, surprise. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Rob Zombie. There was nudity in a Rob Zombie movie. Surprise to absolutely nobody. Um, but man, they are just like, listen, we want real. You ever want a movie to just highlight what actual women in their older years just look like naturally? This was that movie. This was the movie to highlight that because they're just older ladies just naked in this movie, and they're shot in a way that it looks really really beautiful because it's not exploitative. It's just like they're
It's
witches.
royal.
They're
Yeah.
they're witches, and so you
They're
expect this to
dirty
be
witches.
literally dirty witches. Not saying that witches are dirty, but these witches had dirt on them.
Mhm.
So they were literally dirty witches. But I'm just saying it was shot well, and it wasn't like some movies where it would be like zooming in on certain body parts for like sexual exploitation. But it does highlight in context that these were witches in a ceremony, one with nature, and they were in their most natural form. So it actually makes absolutely perfect sense for them to be completely nude.
Mhm.
There are many Rob Zombie movies where women are naked just cuz.
Yeah.
And we see nipples because he wants there to be nipples on camera because sex sells. In this movie, with this context, all of that made sense.
I think this is a really good point. I feel like Rob Zombie typically shows real nudity, quote unquote. While some are conventionally attractive, he does film imperfect bodies.
I will not,
Unconventional, yeah.
yeah, I will not disagree with that comment. However, I'm thinking back to like the last Rob Zombie movie that I saw, which I think was House of a Thousand Corpses,
Ditto.
and in that movie there was nudity on like teenage, like college age cheerleaders or whatever, just
Just 'cause.
because they were there, and so I'm comparing those two things in particular.
Yeah.
And in those two comparisons, the nudity makes a lot more sense in Lords of Salem than they did in. I assume that's a vape. Otherwise, this show has shifted greatly.
It is a vape.
Okay, I didn't know what that was, and I was very confused why we're just showing this like stuff on camera. Like
I'm looking for a vape that has fluid in it.
I'm looking for a new bottle of water. This was empty. I have more water, like literally right here at my feet.
I do not have water, and I wish I did.
I get you one. Come on.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man.
Right.
Cinematography. Yeah, it was a Rob Zombie budget, but the director of photography yet again to the rescue. The Kubrick references.
Long
hallways, zooming in on the door.
Yeah. Think The Shining. Picture The Shining.
Picture The Shining. Yeah. That camera angle that they used.
That didn't click. That didn't click with me while I was watching, but you're right. I can see that now as you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Were there any production notes that I made anything about production? I know there were. Ooh, I did highlight the use of shadows and sheer. Early on in the movie, they had, it was something in like the shirt that Sherry Moon was wearing, and it's one of those ways of showcasing nudity without necessarily showcasing nudity. So it was the backlight and using of the shadows through a sheer white shirt, where the light shines through the sheer shirt and you see her silhouette through the clothes. So it just seems like opportunity, not actual like exploitative, explicit nudity.
Right.
But that isn't always easy to pull off. And it was still done tastefully because she lived alone in this apartment. So just her and her dog. So for her to be naked at home, it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be?
Why wear clothes when you don't have to?
Anything else?
Oh, there was a scene where the witches there's like they go back and they show the witch burnings in the past, and this chair that they had the witch sitting in as all of the witches in her coven were burning to death, and she just sat in this forced to watch. And I love the chair, so that's like prop design.
Prop design
was pretty damn good. That's a story element.
The iron mask and all of that.
There
Like,
was some artwork in the background that I thought was pretty
hmm
dope.
yeah, like the
Oh
trip to the
no!
moon poster.
Oh yeah, that cutout in the back was fantastic. I wanted to know your thoughts. There's a painting in the background that bleeds,
Yes.
and I love
I
that
love
prop.
that shot.
So let me explain what we
Love
got
that
going on
shot.
here. We have a painting, right, with figures, humanoid figures. I can't remember exactly what kind of people were, but then like where the eyes and mouth holes are, it's just painted like straight black, which looks normal, kind of like Ghostface here. It's kind of like this, where the mouth
hmm
and eyes are just black, but it's a
hmm
painting on the wall. And then because something's going on, something with a curse, or whatever, the painting starts to bleed from the eyes. So it's
From
just
three figures. Three
yeah,
figures lined up without defining features, white skin,
like
uh,
Ghostface.
hollow face.
So so then they start to bleed, which is a great effect. It looks good on camera, and then you just once you
And she
start getting
doesn't
it
notice. She
right, but
doesn't.
when you get to the point where like you have to set up rigs like this, and you're just like, okay,
I
how are
was
we?
trying
How
to
are we?
inspect.
Yeah, like you're just sitting there like, okay, all right, how do they do this? Did they pump blood from behind? Do they have like a rig sitting above? Because it's a lot easier to like gravity feed. It's a lot easier. Tip. It's a lot easier to just shoot low and prep from above. Let gravity feed. Just control the flow. Um,
hmm
but yeah, it was good blood flow, good control. Um, however they rigged it, you could not tell, which probably was a benefit for coming out of those black orifices, which made the art make sense. It made things look everything worked. It really worked, particularly with that effect. And I really did like that one. I'm glad I made note of
hmm
that. See, this is why I make notes. I need to make more notes.
Yeah, you should. You
Anything
should.
else? Anything else?
That we haven't talked about already.
Um, that's a writing thing. I'll talk about that in a minute. Um,
hmm
I'm just mad about the dog. I'll talk about it in a second. Um, oh, there is the really weird Salem turkey baby. In the end, the little turkey looking thing. That was weird. That's a costume thing. I don't know where
With
that comes
a
in.
with a midget, or excuse me, a short person,
Little person.
a little person on in a in a latex suit.
It was weird.
Um,
You kind of have to just see it to see it, just for the sake of seeing it. I will ask you this because this is kind of your thing. What did you think about the blood?
I
There
loved
wasn't a
it.
there wasn't a whole lot of blood, but you're a blood critic,
I
so it's
am.
important. It's important that I
So the
ask you.
blood pooling on the floor was expertly done. It still had that red tint, but
Mhm.
it was coagulating because it had
Yeah.
been some time. They had covered his face and they were sitting drinking tea and wine and stuff like that.
So we're talking about the scene where there's a secondary character who is starting to discover this in the background. There's always somebody who's figuring shit out in the background, separate from the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's the one that is trying to find Heidi and explain, hey, this is kind of odd. We might be able to look into this, figure some things out. But the witches get to him first, and so he's been dead. He's just sitting on the floor after he got, whack with the cast iron skillet. I was going to ask you because in I would ask this in writing, but I'm not. I'm going to ask you this in production. What did you think about the sound production, particularly, more specifically, with the song that triggers all of this?
Uh, I felt like the song was perhaps too simple.
That's kind of where I'm leaning on that because I feel like it shouldn't be super complex. It didn't need like deep lyrics or nothing like that.
Nothing like
But it
that,
was
but
just, I feel like it was based off of like a 4-note tune or whatever that you could have very easily heard anywhere else over time. Um,
mhm.
but something was supposed to be unique about this. Um, seemed seemed weird, and I just wanted, because I know you're also pretty musically inclined, so I want to make sure I asked you about that. Didn't you just release some music here recently?
Yes, I did.
You know what? You deserve to have
Last week,
a.
I
Mhm.
think.
So yeah, just a little shout out to Sako. You know, if you figure it out, she might throw something in the description or something. And, check out Sako's. Sako does more than just podcasting with me. So just be on the lookout for other Sako to me things.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Um, so with that, do we even need to devote on production?
Production was great.
Production was fantastic. This was a
So,
well structured movie. This was a well put together movie. Um,
star for production.
easy star. It's an easy star.
Easy star. Uh, banners. Writing. We talk about dialogue, we talk about the plot, and we talk about the pacing.
So this is actually pretty easy because this is the part where I normally go on about what the movie was about, and I've
I
already
also
covered.
have a summary.
I got it.
Okay.
So here's the kick. We start off in 1696. Witches are being burned for being witches, and she's like, "I'm gonna get your ass." Fast forward to the future, and we get Heidi, who's played by Sherry Moon Zombie, and she works for the radio station. She's part of a 3-person radio group. Both of the other dudes are named Herman, which is weird. They're both named Herman. There's Black Herman and White Herman, and I'm so sorry that I know I said I was going to try to avoid having to do that, but they're both named Herman. I have no other choice, but it's Black Herman and White Herman. I don't know what I was supposed to do. It's not like it's the Munsters, which would be Green Herman, which makes a third Herman in a zombie movie. Anyway, I digress. Because they did the Monsters. See what I did there? See how I connected the zombie?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all in all, we start off with like Monday. She goes to work. She does the radio show. And she has like a Satanistic, emo-looking rocker as a guest. Talks, moves on. She gets a guest on the next show, which is a guy who was writing a book about witches and shit or something. And so they talked about it and they discussed it. Now on the second show where she had this other guest, after she left the radio station on the first night, someone had said, "Hey, you got to package this music." Someone dropped it off for you. Thank you very much. I was going to yell at the lack of creativity in characterization, and I still will. Spoiler. So that first night, Monday, she gets the because of course his last name was Jackson. Stereotypes. Great album by Black Violin. If you like violin music, like hip hop violin, there's a group called Black Violin, not sponsored. You should check out.
They are wonderful.
They are fantastic. They have an album called Stereotypes. It's great listening. You're welcome. Back to the movie. First night, she gets the music. Second night, she plays the music as like a hit or miss kind of thing. Vote if you like it. Vote if you don't. I forgot what they called it. Smash or trash, something like that. Every radio station has a cute little name for it. The music was from the Lords. And since they live in Salem, they called them the Lords of Salem. Hence the name.
Which was actually shot in Salem.
There you go. It looked like Salem, though I haven't actually been there. I've seen lots of pictures. But I knew that they were actually in Salem because, fun fact, they walked past the Bewitched statue.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine when she went to Salem, um, has a picture of her by that same exact statue. And I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
know that statue. They're actually in Salem because
Yeah.
it's there. I want to see that statue just because Jesus wept. Long and short, uh, from I don't even know what thing she knew I was going to say. Um, Either way, from this point forward, the music played is now triggered a curse, and Heidi starts going through it. I will spoil you the details because you kind of have to watch and experience it with her to really get the gravity of it. Hey, nice. Um, you know what? You can go ahead and take that banner down because I'm not going to spoil it. I'm actually not going to
Oh.
spoil it. I'm not. Because here's the thing there's a movie called Martyrs, right? French film, fantastic horror movie. If you love that crazy, dark horror, particularly French horror, which is a genre all in its own right,
I
then
tried the new version
I
and
haven't
it,
bothered with that one yet. Get the original French one. Um,
yeah.
I'll try to watch the remake. Eh. Either way it goes. Here's why I'm mentioning this. Martyrs is essentially two movies in one. Okay. The first half of the movie makes a lot of sense, bunch of shit happens, and then we shift into the second half of this movie where we go into this really dark, slow-paced, um, methodical pacing of things. It's very slow, and you're just basically watching someone suffer in slow motion over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what this week is, just not super slow. But you're watching Heidi suffer. And the reason why I normally tell the entire movie, but I'm not going to this time, the only reason is because I feel like to fully appreciate it, and we've basically been talking so much good stuff about this movie so far, I'd rather you experience it. I want you to watch this movie, and after about, because it does break down into days, after about Tuesday, you're going to notice that Heidi starts to have progressively bad days. And I want you to experience those bad days with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not spoil this movie. I will not tell you how it ends, but I'll just tell you, I will give you this spoiler. She has a bad week and it never gets better.
Well,
There
it kind
is
of does.
It does not get better. There is
It
something
kind of gets
important
better.
during the credits. There's a story being like a report being told. You're going to want to hang out for that.
Yeah.
That's important story elements, which would open the door to a Lords of Salem 2. And if it's not out and if it hasn't been made, it should be. So I'll leave you with that. I will say the only thing I didn't like that bothered me was the scene where Heidi goes up, she's stopped by her neighbor, and her neighbor's like, "Hey, my sisters are in town. Why don't you come have some wine with us?" She's like, "I will. Gotta feed my dog first, then I'll be down." And so when she goes into her apartment to feed her dog, that's the scene I was describing earlier with the witches, with the witch in her apartment. And the dog is really quiet and calm. Normally, if there's some mystical, evil, something dark side entity in your
Our
house, the
which was
dog's going to be losing their damn mind, which I think happens later.
it happens later, yeah.
And so I was a little annoyed at the fact that not the fact that it didn't happen, although I was annoyed a bit because it didn't happen here when it absolutely should have, but also happens later. So you establish it at some point that this should have happened, but then it just doesn't when it very obviously should have. I think that was a misstep. I do understand Heidi had some lines. We kind of want to draw out the tension and suspense in this scene. We want to see if she's going to turn around and notice. We're going to see if she's going to get scared by this ghost, if she's going to notice. What's this ghost going to do? We don't know. We're left in suspense. It's drawn out like this speech is, and then nothing happens, and she goes downstairs and has wine.
Um
That's not a spoiler. It's just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Shit goes downhill about after this. So that's the one thing I really had issue with. I don't think there's any other writing notes I had. That's the part about the dog. Love the chair. Yep, those are my big notes.
Right on.
All right.
Dialogue. She seemed a little squigged out at the reading. A little more than like, why did she leave? Why did she get so uncomfortable that she left? At having her palm read. That kind of took me out of her personality a bit.
I felt that was okay.
You think?
That didn't bother me as much because I feel like so while she's down there getting wine, this is all essentially this is the next scene. While she's downstairs having wine with the neighbor and her sisters, um, are you tapping on your desk near your
I
microphone?
what? Yeah.
Because we can hear it as a thump, 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 thump.
Oh, that's me. That's the clicking of me on the mouse. Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Making you aware of it. During the wine drinking and whatnot, one of the sisters does a palm reading on Heidi. And I feel like the palm reading just got really personal and or kind of accusatory.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was blame coming out or uh, some sort of questioning of Heidi that made Heidi uncomfortable. I think that's why she walked off. She's like, you know what? This has been fun. I'm a dip now.
I'm a dip now. And she went straight to bed.
Yeah. But again, like I said, starts having an incredibly shitty week after that. Like it got
Nightmares
bad.
started that night.
Like she was having after she on after the first time that they played the record at her house, she felt weird, right? Okay, this is a weird thing, whatnot. Then they played at the radio station, and she felt weird then, and it got a little bit worse. It was after all the radio station where she felt weird and played it. Then she comes home. There's the witch in the apartment. Then she has wine, has the palm reading, and like after this, it all goes to shit. Progressively goes to shit, including the scene with her in the church and with the priest.
Which took
And
10 minutes to film.
it probably took him 10 minutes to finish. It's like insinuated fellatio.
Insinuated.
There you
Yeah.
go, YouTube. There you go. There's all your sensory bullshit. It's insinuated fellatio that she is seemingly forced to perform on the priest while the priest is all
Proselytizing.
you're
Yeah.
gonna die and shit.
You're going to hell. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she wakes up, it realizes it's all a dream, and the priest dude is like, yo, you good? And she's like,
Yeah.
and she rolls
No,
out.
I'm not. And bolts. Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to spoil it. That was just a really interesting, that was just a particular scene. So know that that's coming. But again, I want you to experience her shitty week. So go watch it. It's on Tubi because of course it is. That should be like
I
my
thought the
sponsor spot.
pacing was great.
It's going to be my sponsor spot. Tubi because of course it is. The pacing. Go ahead.
I thought the pacing was great.
I think it worked for the format of the movie.
I didn't think any of it was slow and pointless.
No, I'd agree. I agree.
Everything had a point. every shot was intentional.
Hmm.
The beats really kept
The
kept
end,
swinging,
the ending is a little weird. Not talking about it. I'm just saying the ending was a little weird and clustered. Um,
but
but
I liked it.
given given the nature of this ending, I get it. So again, that's all I want to say. I need you to experience it for yourself. Um, yeah.
Star for the writing. I thought it was
Yes.
really awesomely written.
Yeah.
Like
Because any of the
his
perceived
core
flaws,
idea was a little offensive, but that's okay.
but it's Rob Zombie. I think.
Manson-esque hippies.
I mean, here's the thing: there are some horror people that just kind of get away with weird shit because we expect weird shit from them. Kubrick was one of those people who did weird shit and we expected it. If it wasn't weird shit, we're like, is this even really Kubrick?
Kubrick.
Is it
Yeah.
even? Um, Rob
AI.
Zombie is one of
So
them, and so is
AI.
Eli Roth. Eli Roth, Rob Zombie, Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. I'm trying to think of someone else who would just you would expect weird shit from them.
Weird shit. I see his face, but I can't remember his name.
It's kind of in the same vein as an M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, sure.
Pronounced Shyamalan. There's one particular person out there I always like to fuck with them for that. I don't know if it's actually pronounced Shyamalan, and I don't really care. It's Shyamalan. You're welcome. You expect there to be something odd and twisty in a Shyamalan movie. There's just an expectation that you have. And this is no different. This was a Rob Zombie movie, and I got out everything I expected out of a Rob Zombie movie. Surprisingly, this may actually be my favorite Rob Zombie movie.
Mine too.
This may be the best Rob Zombie movie because it doesn't feel as out of pocket as House of a Thousand Corpses, 31, Three from Hell, The Devil's Rejects, and what 10-minute bit of Halloween I was able to get through.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably, of Rob Zombie's movies that I've seen, probably his best. This is probably his best, most straightforward work, and it's not just straightforward. So,
Right. Right. So I think it should get a star for the writing.
I agree.
Okay. Now, characterization. Family members worked fine, I guess.
I mean, what do you say? Like, okay, so looking at the characters here, just for the record, the casting, consistency, evolution, POV. Let's talk about the casting and the naming. I said I was going to bitch about this, and I'm gonna. You had two bitches named Herman.
Whitey.
So his name was Whitey. It was Herman Whitey White or Whitey Herman White. However you would phrase it and nickname yourself. However you would phrase that. His nickname was Whitey, and he was the white Herman, and of course Black Herman was named Herman Jackson. I guess you didn't feel like you could get away with having Herman White and Herman Black, which I guess
Spy
you really
versus spy. I don't know.
almost. The characters were fine; they were secondary. Herman Black was more secondary than Herman White. Herman White was like her ex, or maybe they like have some sort of more intimate past. Herman Black really feel like he was just a character to fill out the trio. I feel like he had the connected but not as connected relationship with Heidi, which just created just like a disposition between Herman and Herman.
Mm-hmm.
It's really all he served. He served to counter Herman as opposed to counter Heidi.
Right.
And was done well enough.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Herman White was close enough to Heidi to where he could start to notice some of the changes. Again, not going too deep into it because I want you to experience this movie. You kind of have to just ride this wave. Got to ride this wave with her. Probably my favorite role for Sherry Moon Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
If, like I said, the last zombie movie that I watched was House of a Thousand Corpses. So if you're comparing Heidi to Baby Firefly, Baby Firefly is so over the top. So Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, Baby is just so over the top in those movies. She's so kind of extreme. Heidi seems real mellow. And it is nice to see this version of Sherry Moon in her character. I would agree. There are some things that are just iconically King and iconically Hitchcock. But I think that's kind of one of the things you do. Tarantino, another director.
Tarantino, yeah.
He's another director that when you're watching a movie, if you don't know it's a Tarantino movie, you figure out very quickly. Very quickly, you'll figure it out it's a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Your perspective, I will say that with the directors that we had mentioned, the writers and directors that we've mentioned, they have such an odd individual style that if I was to make a Tarantino movie exactly like Tarantino without actually remaking a Tarantino movie, does that make sense? You'd absolutely hate it. You'd say I was a trash director. Right. Because it's the frame of, oh, it's a Tarantino movie. Oh, it's a Hitchcock movie. Oh, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Oh, it's an Eli Roth movie. Oh, it's a Rob Zombie movie. That frame you put it in, it helps you focus on the things in the light it's intended to design, to highlight. And I think that's not necessarily a sign of a good director, but an iconic one.
Yeah.
So your opinion of Hitchcock, Shyamalan, Roth, Zombie, they can vary. Tarantino, they can vary. Like them or hate them. But you recognize their style while watching it. There's something very similar to Django Unchained, to Kill Bill Volume 1, to Pulp Fiction, that stands out, and you're watching a Tarantino movie, for example.
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah.
Right. 3 from Hell, 31, Devil's Rejects, Lords of Salem. These are classic zombie tropes. And you're going to see that not just in cinematography and in story, but in characterization. One, because Sherry Moon's zombies in it. But I liked this version of Sherry Moon Zombie. I liked her in this calm Heidi role. I liked this role. I liked her in this role far better than I liked her as Baby. I like Baby Firefly, but I like Heidi a lot better. What are your thoughts on the portrayal of the witches?
It was the invocation of Satan that I found kind of wonky.
Tell us why.
Because witches aren't inherently satanic.
I feel like it. So there's a lot of assumption, particularly in the 1600s, about witches being devil worshippers. worshippers, right? That's why they were hunted. That's why they were burned. These were very religious villages. They didn't
That
like
were high on mold.
quite likely. There's a lot of theories on that. That's a different show.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of dancing in their nature ceremonies. They worshiped nature.
It's legit. I mean, that
Well,
opening scene.
my point is, this is the point I'm getting at. So they worshiped nature, but the dancing seemed like the devil's work in a hyper religious system, particularly a Puritan crowd that like the Massachusetts Bay colonies would have been in. Very Puritan in that era. So any of that would have been devil's work. I'm boring, Sako. All that would have been
No, I'm
devil's work.
just
And
underslept.
same. But it was always confused as devil worship. And I feel as if the accusation of devil worshiping would have been better than the actualization of devil's worship. Because it does feel like you're doing devil worshiping, which by and large wasn't a thing. Witches were pagans. Correct me if I'm wrong. Witches were pagans, and they all worship nature, the earth itself.
Not necessarily, but
Then I'll take the correction.
each witch has their own paradigm.
So I'm not wrong. That's not necessarily right all the time.
Right.
See, I wasn't wrong. I just wasn't. It was just too broad. I painted too broad a brush. It's fine.
It's fine. There are many who are nature worshiping. There are many who are justice worshiping. There are many who are magic worshiping. You know, it's what gods are you dealing with at the time? You know?
Yeah. I just need to find the group that are moon worshiping.
That's pretty easy to do.
That's right. Because that's the last thing I need is a bunch of people worshiping me. I do not need that kind of power. Do not worship your moon. Don't do it. I promise it's a bad idea.
Consistency in evolution, I would say it was expertly
Spot
done.
Spot on. Because the
stakes kept going up and up.
It was a
and up.
de-evolution. It was a de-evolution. There was consistently getting worse. Things consistently got worse. Again, don't want to get too deep into it. I want you to experience it.
I won't spoil the end. I really wanna, but I won't. The POV was Heidi. You know, we followed her around, and there was the three other witches who were
there also. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it was kind of casted from this group of people that are in zombie movies, so you can't really say much about that. And you don't criticize it either, because that's what zombie does. I mean, hell, that's what Hell Hills does. And it's because sometimes, here's the thing, for those who might criticize, those who might actually have an issue with it. When you're someone like Zombie, you have a particular vision, right? Your vision is, to say the least, unconventional, right? And if your vision is unconventional, then you need to find people who are genuinely gonna understand what you're trying to do. And if people don't get what you're trying to do, they're not going to produce your movie well. They're not going to act in your movie well. They're not going to get it, and it's going to come off weird and stiff and odd. You got to find your core group of people who get it. Zombie has found his core group of people who get it. They understand the vision that he has for his films.
One of the trivia bits that I kind of came across was that the actors were only given parts of the script instead of the whole thing, so
that makes sense.
So that when they saw the movie, like it was, and one of the actors, can't remember which one, mentioned that it was working with Zombie was like walking through a labyrinth.
I could see that. I would love to be on set with some of these directors. I don't need to be in the movie. I don't need to be credited. I don't need a job or a role. I'll hold a light if you want me to or whatnot. I'll drag some shit. I'll set up a track, whatever. But I just want to be there. I want to experience watching a set. So if you don't mind, hey, if you're filmmakers out there, and if you want to just have a random moon on set, I'm your moon. I'm your guy. I'll just show up. I'll show up. I'll interview your people for you. I'll put y'all on if y'all want. We'll figure it out. We'll work something out. I want to be on set. I just want to see shit happen. I love watching shit come together. And I feel like stylistically, it has to be interesting. And that's the only word I can think of. Like interesting, if not fascinating, to be on set with someone with such a unique vision. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We named quite a few through the course of this episode, but we'll focus on Zombie. And I think it's highlighted in not giving your entire cast all the script at once, just enough to get through what you need to get through, and have them discover the movie kind of the same time you do. Like, that's weird. It's unconventional. Not every actor is going to be happy about that. And I think it does aid in the movie if you're like, how do you want to experience this scene? How do you want to feel about this? Ignore what might be happening after the fact. What are you feeling, doing, thinking now? And I think all of that does aid in how iconic his directorial style is. But I can see where some would love it or hate it, depending on how they feel about zombie movies. Rob Zombie movies.
Yeah. In general, I don't normally enjoy zombie movies, like Rob Zombie movies. But Lords of Salem was watchable.
It's a great movie. I'll say this. If you're the kind of person who's listening to this and say, ooh, I don't do Rob Zombie movies, you might like this one. You might like this one. I'll say this. If you don't like this movie, you absolutely hate Rob Zombie movies. 100%. I'll go ahead and throw it out there as we have crossed the 1 hour mark. There's a star. This is a 4-star movie.
This is a 4-star movie.
Yeah. This is one of those movies that is fundamentally a 4-star movie. It's a good movie. The story is simple in that there aren't a lot of overly complicated characters that have to interact with each other. You're really just focusing on Heidi and how everybody interacts with Heidi.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, Heidi's experience is this very controlled time. The way that the days are labeled out for you really helps you organize the timeline. And you just watch this chick have a really shitty week. And it works. The way Rob Zombie did this works.
Oh.
Good. As you should.
Waka waka. All right, so that's a 4-star rating for Lords of Salem
We
by
gave a
Rob
Rob
Zombie.
Zombie movie 4 stars.
Who knew?
I'm
Not what I was expecting.
It really wasn't. And I'll be honest, in case anybody's curious, I don't pre-score any of these movies as I'm watching them. I really do like how the conversation between Sako and I kind of triggers certain thoughts, approval or disapproval. And I judge my star right here and there. There have been plenty of times I'm like, Sako, I have a thought, talk me into this star, talk me out of this star. And she's been able to either talk me into a star or talk me out of one. Because I'm experiencing it from my own vantage point, but sometimes there's other points of view to consider. And with that in mind, I think it's always important that whether you like a zombie movie or you don't like horror, if you don't like horror, what are you doing here? Really, I'm confused. But you should always don't just take our word for it. The movie's available on Tubi, because of course it is. And you should watch this movie for yourself, as you always should. Whether we give it 4 stars or if we ever gave a movie like 0 stars, you should still watch the movie for yourself, because every movie at least deserves a watch, right? Blockbusters, independent film, find independent films and grade them for yourself, because why not?
You know? Yeah.
Why not? That's my soapbox.
Right. Well, thank you for said soapbox. And we will catch you tomorrow as we talk about haunted technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some challenges that I want to pose you guys. That pertains to your writing. So we will give it a shot and see how it works out.
Let's see if we remember how to do a show without a guest.
I kind of rehashed the format.
I don't even remember how to do a show without a guest.
Yeah, I couldn't remember either, so I just started from scratch.
What I know what that looks like tomorrow, 11 o'clock. And if you think you're going to forget, this is when you go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you can know when our episodes go live. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you're already, doing all that good stuff. Go ahead and do it. You love this show. You love us. You worship your moon. So you're going to do it anyway. You're going to do it anyway. You are going to worship your moon, and you're going to like and subscribe to this channel and do all the things. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do it right now. Right? Like and subscribe. Join us tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Do it. Do it right now.